Hi everybody, this is Lisa Benson from Benson's Boas, and I have with me today Ginger Snap. And Ginger Snap is a 2021 Brazilian rainbow boa. And I got her out today because what we're going to be talking about is sort of relevant to Brazilian rainbow boas. Some of you might know that this is a species that requires a fair amount of humidity, especially as youngsters. They have a requirement of almost 100% humidity as juveniles. As they get older, they have a slightly less rigid requirement, but it's still pretty high. So one of the things I did in my new boa room was I constructed a real industrial strength humidifier for the room. And I keep the room at a higher humidity level than a normal house would be. So it's close to 63% humidity in this room. And boas like Ginger can really appreciate that. And my other boas do too, because they're all from pretty much tropical localities. So even though I do keep substrate in the enclosures and keep that wetted down, keeping the room at an ambient relative humidity that's higher helps to keep the overall humidity in the range that these types of boas really enjoy. So without further ado, I'll get into the making and the construction of this humidifier. Here's the humidifier. I've set it up next to my sink just for convenience sake. It makes it easier to fill it, although I haven't had to fill it all that often. It doesn't run continuously. It runs based off of a humidity meter, which I've got hooked up on the wall in the next room, which I'll show you. Here is the humidistat. And you can see right now it's reading 66%, and the meter is hanging up on the wall here. So I don't want it in the direct line of output for the humidity output here, the spray, which comes out of this vent here. And this is a 27-gallon reservoir, and it's got a fill hole here, which is just a number 15 stopper. Goes right in here and fills. This is an electric fan, 5-inch fan, and this is a controller for the fan that I can turn up the speed. And the fan actually pushes air down into here, which causes the fog to come out through this vent here. So the vent is pushing the fog out. The fog is generated by a 12-head ultrasonic fog maker, mist maker. All of these components right here that I'm showing you, the fan, the adapter that this is attached to, right here, and over on this side, let me move this out of the way. I shouldn't have that there. But this transformer and this humidistat and the humidity sensor all were purchased from the House of Hydro, and I'll put the link in the description of the video so you can find it for yourselves. But all these components I bought from the House of Hydro, and they have some videos on their YouTube site and also on their own website where you can look up how to make these different versions of this humidifier. But I'll show you how I made this one. So basically I started off with a 27-gallon reservoir, which is just a bin from, I got mine from Walmart. It was a Hart bin. That's the brand name. And I liked it. I liked the color of it. I liked the flat top because I knew I had to drill some holes in it and mount some things to it. And I didn't want the type that had all the ups and downs on it because I figured that might make it a little more challenging to drill. So what you need to be able to drill holes in for is you need to be able to drill a cutout hole for this fan. So a circular hole, and I used a circular saw for that. So you need to be able to drill a hole for that. if you want to be able to easily fill these reservoirs up without taking the whole lid off, you'll need to be able to drill a smaller hole, maybe like a 2-inch hole for your fill plug, your fill hole. And you'll also need like a 4-inch hole for your adapter here. And this thing just lifts right out. So you just put this adapter on here. This thing, this whole assembly here, I picked up at, I think it was Home Depot. I got just these parts. These are heating, ventilation, air conditioning parts, just aluminum, just aluminum parts. And you can just pick those up in the ventilation section of like Home Depot or Lowe's. And I used a pipe clamp to kind of make it secure, but you can find other things to do this with, but that was just what I found to work. And the top I liked because I could bend it into an angle that worked for me, to point it in a direction that worked for me. Then I made a little hole and I just plugged it up with some rubber gloves that match the color here, coincidentally, but I just plugged it up so that the steam doesn't come out of that hole too. But these are the wires that come from a UV sterilizer that's in the tank, and I'll show you that. And also this is the wire that goes to power the ultrasonic head. So I'll open this up. I'll show you here. I'm opening this up here. So I've got the lid open here, and what you can see is I've got a UV light, and that hangs in the water, and that UV light kills bacteria, and it helps keep the reservoir nice and clean. And down in here you see the ultrasonic head, and that's the fog maker. It has 12 discs, and those discs are what make the fog you see here. And so this is in a float. It sits in a float, and the float is what keeps it at the right level in the water, and makes sure that also, if the water were to get below the level that it should be, it will also turn off automatically. So it's very convenient that way. And you see the bottom side of the fan here is right there. And all of this, what it does is it pushes this fog out that it makes, and this pushes air in, and that pushes the fog right out through the hole. So this thing here that I've got here is just a level indicator that I got, which is kind of cool. I just put that in extra to show the level of the water. You can see it's down a little, so I know that I'm not at full level. The other thing I did was I added a little seal, a little gasket around the edge, the top edge of my bin, just to keep some of the fog from leaking out through the edge seam. Because what can happen is the fog does leak out through little tiny gaps, and you can end up with a little pool of water over time on your floor. So I would recommend keeping some protection against water leakage on the floor. So that's the one downside that you have there. On the controller side, this is pretty easy to set up. It has a mode for, I think, both for humidity and for temperature control. In this case, I'm just using it for humidity, and I have the humidity sensor set up on the wall here. So once, and there's instructions that come with it that show you how to program it, and it's very straightforward. You're going to set it first to the humidity mode, and then you're going to set the point at which it goes on, so the humidity number at which it goes on, and then the humidity number at which it's going to turn off. And so what is plugged into this outlet here are the two things that are going to be controlled on and off. And those are the fan and the ultrasonic head. So the fan and the ultrasonic head only come on when the humidity is lower than the off point and higher than the on point. So it works out really well. It only runs for maybe 5-7 minutes at a time. And you know, that reservoir has been lasting me at this point for a good, it's been well over a month that I haven't had to fill it. And you can see the humidity in the room is you know, between 60 and 65, 67%. So it's keeping things very nice and humid in here, which my Brazilian rainbow boas and all my other boas really appreciate. So that's my humidifier, and I hope that if any of you have any questions, I will show it running in another clip here. And if any of you have any questions about this humidifier, I will include the parts list. And if any of you have any questions, please include them. But I hope you find this useful. And this is Lisa Benson, Benson's Boas, and I'll be coming at you with some more information soon. Thank you.